bit like a horse. So when they're on the low ground, we call it the Shetland pony. You've heard the Shetland reference a couple times today. This one on the super high ground with the horse-like hero, the high horse.
It's the high horse.
It's the high horse.
Just keeping it simple. Just gotta keep it that way. It's fine. I'm hoping that we get to see more of the hamster as well. You can see Deacon.
Again, just the sentences we get to say for a living.
More of the hamster. Squeak, squeak 'em, squeak, squeak.
Squeak, squeak, my friend. Squeak, squeak. All right, so that's going to be the defense now finalized here. They're going to put the Orisa on the high ground because that shield is almost impossible to penetrate. They're going to put their Widowmaker behind it. Now up front, they've got a damage-boosted Junkrat trying to chunk a lot in, and Liko finds Oni God early. And here comes the halt ability as well. The halt with the Widowmaker is actually a really good combo as well.
Exactly right. So we are alive with the action right now. Into it as well. Norway up in the lead 2-0. And we're on attack now. So as far as Dudu is concerned, it's just maintaining the pressure here so that Dudu has the mobility exactly to bounce back and forth thanks to grappling hook. We will have Junkrat on high ground as well, just chilling out, chucking nades, making life difficult for Norway. But we saw that Norway are perfectly capable of playing dive together.
Yeah.
They were very effective earlier.
They're going to force the jump away early on, and Aiko, who went in with his team on that dive, is going to be the first to fall. Track will follow, but now they're getting trades, and trades on this map will generally favor the offense at least a little bit. You get a little bit closer on the spawns.
And Onigod still finds that kill on Honorado. Not quite going to connect, but this is a decent situation now, although Deco is still up here on top.
Yeah, he needs to not be found.
Just waiting for that pack to come offline. Is there a Zenyatta? Did the Zenyatta see him? Don't think so. Don't think so.
He's sneaking. He's
oh,
holding.
Is he going to notice? Oh,
no.
Come on. Is he going to notice? Just look around the corner, Ole. Notice that the pack has been taken.
It just blinds the 800-pound gorilla in the room as he comes around the corner and he finds him right away. He waits for his tracer to come. My goodness.
I love it. Sick plays coming through here for Norway. They've got a man advantage now. Still high ground control here for Brazil. Tyre getting thrown right into the mix, looking for the squishies, and it will find IPN. But we do have the Mercy still alive. Ego's still working on the wings, and we'll see if he can get them for this next fight.
Might go ahead and res them there. They are able to take down the opposing Mercy with a nice primal rage. T-God has been so consistent on this Winston, which is exactly what you want out of your tank plate. It has enabled the DPS to run wild, and they will take first point with a little shy of 6 minutes on that clock.
Super solid time so far for Norway. So they've got plenty of it to work with here. We will have the swap. Deacon going to the Rhine. On the other side of things, Neil will be on the Rhine himself, matching things out. We do have the Genji on defense. Okay, then this will be interesting. There's the stick. Hello! You get stunned, you're still dead.
Hello, goodbye, right there. You out of it, now the Blade will come in as well. They use both of them. I think it's because they might have plans to switch off some of these heroes after this initial push.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That timing is just so unfortunate. That should have been a dead Mercy right there. Instead, getting the fight a little while longer and only to get beheaded eventually by Track.
Oh, they throw in everything they have at this first initial push. It's coming together, but with a couple kills on defense, that's all you really need to start stabilizing. And they get just that. That's the noise, that's a horn, that's a whole dead team. And as predicted, they are going to switch off of some of these heroes. Onigod now goes over to a Zarya. Track will move over to the Brigida. They threw in so much, and they're so behind on economy right now that it's a perfect time to reset.
Ooh, that was beastly.
Neil's one of those Reinhardts that you just have to live with and you have to play around your style, right? It's kind of like, it's feast or famine. He's going to go hard. Are you going to support him when he goes hard, or are you going to let your team die?
Well, that is interesting. We will have the trance getting thrown in. That trance gets taken out.
That's a perfect charge.
Yeah, but right back onto the point here. Now the delayed trance on the other side of things. Ole managing to keep his team alive and in it. As Liko is looking to behead the... Oh, well, that did work out actually here for Brazil.
Well, Norway's just piecing this offense together, though. 2 ticks of progress on the point. Will not reset or revert after you get 33 or 66. So now they only need 33 more %. And that push was not going to do much for Norway anyway. They just switched a bunch of heroes. They're just going in to try to get ultimates out of the other team. So as far as objectives go, mission accomplished.
Yeah, Yeah, that nano is going to be a while in the making. We do have the rally here for Brazil. Would like to see them kind of group up so that they can get that maximum armor stack.
Rally's been an interesting ultimate to see evolve because it used to be just out of combat constantly.
Yeah.
A lot of teams are using it in combat now because once you use it in combat, you're regenning, and also you start to rebuild your ultimate immediately while you're in the fray.
That is exactly a very important point out. And well, Deacon gets focused immediately. Excellent work here from Brazil, calling out the targets. A perfect dash from Lico is just going to be so difficult to deal with here if you're Norway. And once again, Norway kind of just running into the blender.
Yep. You'd like to get a couple kills, you'd like to get ult charge online, but they're getting there. One more at the very least will get them full ultimate online. Although Deacon has been kind of slow swinging there. Most importantly, Oni God is going to get there, Track is going to get there, so everyone has just been a slow push, but Brazil has played this very well as well. They ended up using the rally, and that's fine. Everyone's got a little bit of armor, so that's okay, but they haven't committed much else.
And the big thing here is Ligo's had very strong success with that blade so far. So, looking for more of the same from him going into it. He can shut down this push almost single-handedly. There is going to be the grab thrown right in. Neil looking to go ahead and combo off of that. Not with the ult, just with the hammer to the face repeatedly.
Just holding.
Old boy style.
Yeah.
It's in the halls too, Hex. It's in the halls.
I see it. It's a single ultimate able to win that fight for them. Just the graviton and the complete mop up there. Talk so much about anti-heal because it's one of the best basic abilities in the game. So far, Norway's been unable to put it all together, and that was a bad push for them because they didn't even get that much percentage on everyone. That should have been a push that gets them enough, but maybe that's why Brazil grabs right there, because you win that fight clean.
Yeah, no challenge, no follow-up, not quite going to be able to get that.
Norway's going to go.
Now they're going to be onto this point, and this is going to be looking interesting here for Norway. They've got the tools necessary. Track instantly bubbled, but Neil still pasting two. Tricky will find the one kill, but that's going to be two. Might not be enough here to work it.
That was such a cool charge. He played kind of ice skating across that angle over the bridge. I don't think they were expecting it. Gets a couple. Norway's still dedicated to this push, but they're losing too many for a final push on an assault now.
Yeah, now they've lost a lot on the ults as well. I mean, just throwing everything into this fight here, Norway, whereas Brazil, I mean, they still got the blade. Now they have a grab again. Brazil are looking very good on defense right now.
Yeah, this defense looks impenetrable right now. This is the really cool charge over the side. They weren't expecting him to be able to bridge that gap right there. See a little protuberance there. You play a little Tetris angle, get yourself in there. Now Norway's down to it with nothing to work with at all. They will not have any ultimates. They're going to be pushing into a nano, a blade, and a grab. There's the grab. There's the anti-heal. Cleanup not there. Nico gets a little too close and Track takes him down.
Yeah, and that was an excellent D-Matrix there from Tricky to eliminate the nade. You saw Ole just charging in, trying to get that combo going. We do have the nano, but Neil gets out of range of it, and so he will get dropped. Coalescence blazing away. Lico looking for the chop, but he's not gonna find it. There's the stun. There's nothing but death in the hallways for him.
They got there in so many important ults. The Coalescence was able to get their decot, finally got a shatter up, and now Track's got a rally. They're popping ultimates as soon as they get them, and Brazil, surprisingly, is on the back foot in a fight that they probably should have won.
Matt Ole really just throwing everything into this, trying to keep his teammates alive. Lico now making the switch to the fist, trying to go all out, but he is going to get overwhelmed, and it's looking so good now for Norway. If they can win this clean, one tick is all they need.
Yet another shatter for Decot came down during that fight as well, and where are the reinforcements coming from? It's got to skate off the points, and Norway pieces it together towards the end. While they were setting up with their 1 minute push, the nearest percentage was about 30% on ultimates. They get there with the Coalescence. The Coalescence keeps Decot up. Decot swings away, gets a shatter. I think he got 2 shatters off during that fight. Track stays alive. As soon as he gets rally, he hits it. It's just a mad scramble. And that's just kind of been Brazil's so far debut in a nutshell. So close, everything going their way. And then when the pressure's really, really on, kind of falls apart of it.
Yeah, you would say that Norway are on track right now. They're looking pretty solid. The man's making plays, but we've seen this in the past though, Hex, Or it's just, you know, the small little details. It's at the end where you start making the mistakes. You know, pressure's on. You're like, we've nearly done it. But then one error leads into another, and then all of a sudden.
Or one great play just saves you entirely. You're calling the D matrix, the
man.
nade. Like if that nade comes through, then like single hammer swings is going to crush everything. And then, you know, Liko got a little too big for his britches. He got stunned out because when, you know, he got killed actually, just probably hammered away there. Into the Graviton. That Graviton at the door was supposed to be their game-winning fight. You know, they had everybody locked up, but I don't necessarily love fighting that architecture there either because it locks out a lot of your heroes from doing damage, but they saw everyone clumped up, toss it in. Regardless, still a pretty good defense overall. That push ended up going through overtime. We'll see what Brazil has for us on the offense.
Exactly right. Not going to really make any assumptions just yet, obviously, because they can keep changing while they're in spawn. As far as Norway are concerned, we will have the Mercy in play. Junk, Widow.
Yeah. This Widow's going to go up top, probably open. Check out the shield that is sitting up there. Decod will launch up the shield barrier. It will land right there momentarily. He's got that one planned out.
Perfect. So there's the angle, there's the info. Let's see what we've got in store for us now. Perhaps a dead Ana. That was a bit close. They're not going to be happy about that one.
Damage boosted, didn't hit the headshot.
And about Oni now, as soon as that grappling hook comes online, he can get up to the high ground and really take advantage.
I think they're sniffing out. They're looking for a Sombra here. This is called spy checking. It's from an older game where people were invisible in Team Fortress 2. You had to spray and pray. If you hit Sombra, she will become visible again.
Oh, nicely done. Oni right now, shot after shot raining in. The man can't miss. Does find Liko, who got softened up for him, admittedly, but I do.
Oh, it's a nice D-Mac.
He keeps hitting shots. The Demon. That was a hit too.
Yeah.
What's this guy made of?
It's about time to call an exorcist right now. You got to go full on for Onigod. You can't let him beat you. Got to make somebody else step up to the plate and beat you. You can't just let a Widow sit there and do whatever she wants. So they have to go full dive here. They're going to have to send at least both tanks at it. But now it's going to see it coming. You see a nice little tech there as Winston jumps in, shows his back so he doesn't get headshot. And now they're able to take down the front line.
Taking down the main tank is going to be big. We've lost, both of the tanks actually, so Onigod is going to be under pressure here. Obviously, on the Widow, still capable of turning things around if he keeps raining in shots like this. Would love to find a squishy, but hey, there's a nano boosted Winston, who gets instantly slept. IPN.
Huge sleep. I would have just let him keep sleeping. They do wake him. They will get the self-destruct out on this.
Well, there's still 4 alive here. There's still 4 alive. They can still challenge this, although that nade was perfect.
Another sleep. IPN is hitting beautiful sleeps right now.
Oh, then we get the, he gets instantly melted, but there was a boost instantly there on the track as well, trying to keep him in this fight. IPN is the one. We do have these, the bongos down, and that is so much damage getting cranked out. Decod is even capable of just melting people, but how many sleeps? Is that 3 sleeps in a row now for IPN? He's just putting people to bed.
Just not missing right now, and it's one of the harder abilities to hit. And, you know, we talked about people maybe playing on longer pings, but it seems like IPN sleep darts are now on point. He's hit everything. He got double dose several times, lived through it. That's been a masterclass of Ana play.
Minute 43 on the clock here for Brazil. They need 1 tick on this point to win it. Or not win it, but to win the point, obviously, and keep going here for the second. We'll see how they're going to be able to manage it. Now there's that hard point defense set up here for Norway, who are ready and waiting for the dive to come leaping through, and sure enough, that's going to be the case. The reflect kill coming in from Liko. He's going to be happy about that one. And unfortunately, IPN just not able to shoot fast enough. Can't get the heals onto his teammates.
He's trying to get there. Only 1 kill on the side of the defense means that Brazil will turn this point green at some point in time, and now you have to wonder if they have snowball potential. Usually your first push onto Assault is one of your better ones because the defensive team is changing heroes, meaning they will not have ultimates. Looks like they're going to have Barrier, Pulse Bomb. The tank ultimate should come online as well. So I think you have to kind of wait to see where your ultimate situation ends up, or you could Barrier engage right now and guarantee that your tanks get their ultimates.
Nice attempt. That is positioning as well, forcing him into the open. Sound barriers down. Exactly, leading the way. Dudu just kind of poking on the edge here, trying to find somebody to work with, but that's just not the case. His team kind of lagging behind. Neil is dead, brought down by Tricky. And wait, was that a Boostio that I just saw?
It's very possible. We've already seen a Boostio already today. Brazil gets a couple, but with track killing Olay, it's going to be questionable to see if they want to stick in here or not. They are going to back it out. They got both tank ultimates up. They will have Blade and Pulse Bomb yet again. I know you saw it open up that fight, but that's how Pulse Bomb works. kind of just get them and you toss them away because every second you're holding onto a pulse bomb is a second you're not building another pulse bomb.
Exactly right. Comes down to that minute average on the pulse bomb.
Yeah, watch this back right corner from the offensive perspective. That's generally where the supports hang out. That's where you want to focus your DPS ultimates.
That's exactly where Neil's trying to make his play. Liko as well. However, Liko just getting focused down by Decod. No chance for him. Backs out. So we will have no blade from him in this fight, and that's pretty much a signal here for Brazil once again to start backing out, resetting.
Yeah, they're going to back it out. They kind of use this, it's an unorthodox combo where you throw Primal Rage in there immediately and you start bashing people around so that the supports can't peel for each other. It also makes it a little more difficult for your DPS to get in there, but it actually works decent with Blade because you have so much mobility with Genji that if Winston's in there knocking around their back line and there's no peel, there's no support, he's just causing havoc, and then your Genji's in there cutting things apart.
Yeah, knocking people out of position is a big deal. That Demon Bomb lobbed in, not there. Decod will decide to go for the Primal, and he gets boosted as well. So now you've got an angry boosted Monkey just running around. I like it, good positioning. Just making sure that that lighthouse isn't shining too bright here on the team for Brazil. And now Decod gets to back out, and this is the moment that Liko was waiting for. Looking for the hack and slash and not finding it at all. Sound barrier there to cancel it. That was so sick. The timing from Alamao. Or not from Alamao, from Eco.
Well, that's from Alamo as well to keep Liko up as well. Just get both of those sound barriers coming out at the same time means nothing's going to die really on either side. Voodoo did get a lot of kills, and now he's going to pop that rally the instant he gets it. Alamo's able to take down Trax, so Brazil has the first couple of kills that they need here, and they continue to clean up. It's really hard to re-engage with the Brigitte on the point here, just pushing around. And you know what we haven't seen a ton of is Brigitte with Lucio. One of Brigitte's downsides, one of her few downsides, is being able to go left and right. She can just sit with a Lucio and just be everywhere at once in an impressive force.
Oh, wow. The Primal comes online just in time. Now we've got some serious stall coming in. The Nano on top as well. Really managing to delay things here in Norway.
You really don't want to Nano a Primal Rage Winston. You want to Nano to get to Primal Rage. Just the output and the amount of swings that you're able to deliver are not a high priority there. Liko's trying to lock this one out with a Dragon Blade.
And it's looking like he's going to succeed. Just a little bit left here for Brazil to tie things up 2-2. Of course, you're going to have to deal with the Lucio, and that should be it. Yep. Managing to get it done. It's tied up 2-2 on points. And more time on the clock here for Brazil.
Moira's made it a lot easier to deal with these Lucios who dance around points. And it's not necessarily a pure tracking. It's if you're close enough, it's going to get a lock-on soul-sucking beam. And that's the opening deflect that got them this first point. Gets you a lot of charge, gets you the blade going, hack and slash. And there they go with first point. So, because Norway finished in overtime, they don't get another chance. Best Norway can do right now is draw. Brazil, since they finished with time left on the clock, will get that time. And they have 1 minute and 45 seconds to take first point.
This will be big, but if they draw for Norway, things are looking good. Means that it will be 4 maps that we play in this series.
So we'll see if both teams want to run the exact same compositions they did before. I want to see IPN run Ana again. I thought that was a very nice Ana play. It's so nice to see heroes come in and out of the meta and you forget why you fell in love with them to begin with. You're like, oh god, that kid is so cool. So it's been really nice to see Sleep Dart's one of the clutchest abilities in the game. It feels different than everything else. It has its own kind of world. To be really good at Sleep Darts, you have to really practice Sleep Darts, and there's nothing clutcher than hitting like a nano target. You're like, you used 2 ultimates, I used an ability, see ya, have a nap. But it does seem like similar compositions for both sides. A Widow and Junkrat on defense here. Soon Brazil has to deal with this. They're going to go full dive.
Yeah, just get in there. They had success with it first time around. And if Norway are going to be grouped up, this is exactly what Brazil are hoping for. Going through the side passages for now.
I wonder if anyone's going to go over top. Yeah, this is exactly where you should be going to make sure that there's not a Widow on top to come from different angles. And you can see already the defense. It makes them a little bit nervous. As that Orisa going to back up to the point. They're a little bit separate. They can take a 4v3 on the regular point right now, or come up top and just kill supports.
Sick play, Liko. That was beautiful with the rest of the team as well. All the squish right there. And yeah, You know those squish toys where the eyes bulge out? That's exactly what just happened there.
The Genji taking that long flank does something without really doing anything to begin with. They have to respond to it. They can't just sit where they are and get cut from behind or shuriken down from behind. They have to make rotations in squads, and then you're leaving one part of your team a little bit undermanned as opposed to the other. Beautiful dive, beautiful execution from Brazil as they get on the board.
So Brazil, they fight back. They're still in the running here. If they can win the next map, we will go the distance and have 5 Hex. This is a best of 5 after all. Norway, well, they just got to shake this off, figure out what they need to do.
Yeah, it's play our 4th map would be incoming now, and it's a lot like kind of the Europeans call it football. We call it soccer. It's kind of like that, those kind of group stages where everybody plays. We'll tally up the map scores, and then we'll see exactly where people are going to be standing at the end of this. Everyone expected USA and Canada to come out of these groups, but I think the winner of this one will have some momentum that they can maybe challenge. But it's going to be hard when they're kind of taking maps off of each other, too, so they're going to have to beat up some of the other teams as well and take some 4-0s to get themselves higher in the standings.
I feel like this is the story, right? That it is going to be the experience for these underdog teams, and then how quickly can they adjust on the fly over the coming 2 days if we are going to get that upset or not. I mean, USA and Canada are pretty much made up of Overwatch League teams, so or players rather. So the difference there is huge. But we will have Junkertown as potentially the final map in this series.
Yeah, this is the last day where you make excuses about nerves or about maybe they weren't ready, maybe they didn't scout. This is it. And you've had your day. Everyone's been playing a couple times now. Tomorrow, and whatever happens tomorrow, that's you. That's who you are as a team. You know, you earned that one. You had time to settle down and shake it out. And if you get dunked on tomorrow, you're just a basketball. You know, you just got dunked. Junkertown, what do you think here? So maybe
no,
some
I was just
basket.
Like picturing, this like punch ring.
No, you're just laughing at the thought of me with a basketball. That's what's happening right now.
Hey man, you don't need, you're like Curry, you're just like sinking hoops from 30 feet away. You don't need to go for the dunk.
More of a Muggsy Bogues.
There you go.
It's an old
buddy.
reference, but
there you go.
It's an old reference, but it checks out.
It.
All right, so the Junkertown is a map that plays differently than a lot of other maps, even in its map type as an escort map. You jump on the cart and you push it as far as possible. But this map is enormous, and it gets a little bit smaller, and then it gets a little bit smaller. But this first point is one of the most wide open first points in all of Overwatch maps, if not the most wide open. I'm not a surveyor. I don't know the exact numbers. I'm not out there with a little pole or whatever.
I mean, you're not running across timing how long it takes you. Okay.
But you see a lot of Widow play on this map because of the distance, and on offense, you see a lot of what we have dubbed the pirate ship. You put a big old gun hero on the point, you put some shields around him, and then you sail the old seas and fire down on your enemies.
Exactly right. Cutlass out in search of booty. That is what it's all about with the pirate ship. But we might actually get it as well here. We'll see if Ole stays locked in on this Bastion or not. I mean, it is really just kind of a go-to strategy. If it works, great. If it doesn't, you can change up and show the depth of your hero pool. But for now, at least, Junkertown, they're sticking to their guns or the minigun.
Yep, this is exactly what you expect on this map. It's been standard since the map has been introduced. You try to get your Bastion set up onto that payload. His biggest downside is mobility. Payloads happen to do that part for you. You set up shields, and then you try to crack the other team's shields.
Oh man, already the start. Ligo, man, he has really kind of stepped up to be that balance to take Onigod and Track out of the fight here for Norway. Many big kills for this guy when his team needed it. A little bit of a hook there for Dudu, but it looks like he'll be able to back off, takes a breather, and he'll survive. And this is going all according to plan here for Brazil.
This one is pretty much over. They were never able to hit a hook. They were never able to crack the shield, so well, they just untouched that entire time. Meanwhile, anyone who got even partially burned down, Liko was there to follow through with it, so they've done a very good job. Norway posturing right now like they want to hold the high ground here, and it does look like they're going to be able to hold on to it, as you got to wait for the door to open for the payload to continue to push. It's a mechanic of the maps that allows the defense to not get completely rolled over. We're going to put some barriers there at checkpoints to at least slow the offense down.
Exactly right. Control the pacing. And well, Dragon is online. We'll see when he decides to commit it to the fight here, as Zekog will finally remove the Bastion from play. Track wins the duel, and so we will have Norway stabilizing, or they should. DMEC on Honorado is certainly going to help.
able to get him down, and in this composition, they weren't running a Mercy. Sometimes you will just to damage boost the Bastion. It's a little bit overkill, but it also helps the Resurrection if your Bastion's the only one to go down, or your Orisa, or something along those lines. And after the first fail push, oftentimes teams will switch off of it, but there is kind of this thing where you have ultimate usually, you maybe want to hit tank mode, to hit that configuration tank and one-shot people, but it has been all about Hanzo on both sides so far. You see the older Shimada lighten up the kill feed.
Oh, beautiful dragon right through the high ground. Is that a...
I think it was the halt.
That was a halt back into the dragon as well. I like it.
It's a nice little combination that you got going on there. They're going to put down the supercharger. This is a ton of damage. It's one of those really cool combos you don't see a lot, because Whole Hog does a lot of damage on its own, but you supercharge a Whole Hog, you're going to be doing a world of hurt onto the other team. Norway only very far forward.
Doing a super solid job right now controlling these spaces. You see these choke points that Brazil constantly have to try and work their way through. You have the hook attempt, not going to connect. Dude now is going to get, I like that. It's like, gentlemen, you know, your turn. No, after you. After you. You will get the hook in afterwards. And well, Ole now finally going to go into tank mode.
Yeah.
Oh!
I saw that from a mile away. The moment that supercharger went down, he bowled it right down, hit the pocket between the 10 and the 8 pin, and just struck the whole team. Even if everyone gets out of there, it means no supercharger value. It's a perfect trade, because you're either going to get them all away from the supercharger, no value, or you kill the supercharger. If they decide to try to stick around, guess what? You get blown up.
And there it is. Yeah. Really now gone better. That was beautiful. Now the fight continues, obviously. 3 minutes on the clock here for Brazil.
They get a couple nice kills. They get 3 really nice kills, so no need for ults. Once they crack this front door, there's a little bit of stall here from Aiko. That is a complete cleanup from Brazil, and you know, it was all fancy. Everyone's playing on the high ground. They've got ults, they've got shields, and it really just took some regular old Overwatch.
Fancy that.
Yeah, I'm glad that they got off the Bastion, though. I thought they stuck on it a little too long. You just fall for this fact that, like, you think that configuration tank is this great ultimate. It's really not.
It's really not.
Yeah. Sometimes you get giant flashy plays, or you maybe get 2 or 3, but that's your max, and you're so vulnerable in that mode.
Exactly, whereas, you know, just crank it out with the minigun. You can melt everybody anyway. Neil trying to stay alive right now, jumping deeper into the opposition as Decod has been boosted up. He is getting overwhelmed so quickly. Great focus fire there from Brazil to take him out of the fight immediately.
Yeah, and here's what Ole switched to. He switched to Zenyatta, and Zenyatta's gotten the assists on the last several kills there. The Orb of Discord makes killing everyone so much quicker, so much easier, than it's on to the next target. It also helps focus your target calling. Look, 2 assists, 2 assists. He's in on every single kill that they've got. That's the switch they made off the Bastion. That's why it's working now.
That's why we see Zen still so often in these matches. That Discord Orb is incredibly powerful, especially when you're dealing with these tanks. High HP pulls, how about 30% more damage on your face?
It also helps a lot when you've got this kind of composition of people who might just wander outside of sight lines here and there. Anna can do a lot of healing if she can see you, but the Orb of Harmony, which will heal you, will follow you around a corner for a bit. It'll help your Tracer, Winston, or Diva. I think it's a really good comp.
It's definitely looking pretty good. Self-destruct, not gonna find one. Instead, his Decod's just turning him into jelly over there in the corner. Last place you want to be with an angry monkey is in a small room.
Where do you buy your jelly? Sounds like a terrible.
Never had that bacon jelly? God, it's amazing. Bacon marmalade.
Norway has finally stabilized. The last couple times they've stabilized, they chose to hold really hard forward, which you've seen like USA and Canada do, but it seems like USA and Canada are playing with their boot, and even their punch were holding super far forward. But here comes a nano blade.
Oh, so much pressure, so much damage. They are managing to do a great job here. The boops make it so difficult to get that perfect blade off. Nothing coming in from the Diva Bomb.
Transcend heals through, and they just bopped him around like a ninja ping pong ball right there. Just tossed in the air, never able to really get it. And now Brazil has killed all of the supports, now all the DPS. They got one of the tanks, not gonna find the last one though as they continue to push through. 155 here on Junkertown. It's really important to get it around this bend. Big old horseshoe turn.
This is where you really want to be, yeah, exactly, taking the fight on the home stretch.
Because defense can set up around this corner that you see, like, just about the center of the screen would be the corner defense wants to set up. That's why they're fighting so hard for it.
There's the sound barrier. Decent enough pressure coming out here from Norway, sticking together, playing off that barrier. The shatter, though, is big. Can he take anybody for a ride? Yes, he can. Not necessarily the target he was hoping for, though. But they do lose track, Norway, on that Brigida.
A fatty shatty right there. The Graviton comes out from the other side. It is still a scrap, but Brazil getting the better part of this. They also use the rally during that rally. Such a good ultimate. They're able to clean up everything. Now next push, they still have 2 more. They've done a much better job in the last bit of conserving ultimates when they've needed to. They've used a couple. Now they still have 2 more to work with at the end, and Transcendence could come out at any second.
Exactly, to negate that damage. That AoE healing is so key, and yep, there it is. Instantly countered out, okay, so we will have both trances thrown into this fight. Self-destruct has come online for Tricky, but we are gonna have the wombo combo, or at least there's the Zarya ult, there's the bomb over the top! Shield comes down! The shield comes down at the last possible second.
That's Track with the MVP play. It's up over the top. You get them all in the Graviton. The self-destruct will be fine. Maybe you place it perfectly, you get it anyway. But last second, your Brigida walks up, bashes the Rhine so his shield drops. Ba-boom, everyone's dead.
Perfect team play there. Admirable stuff coming in. Track once again showing his worth. No. 10 seconds left here for Brazil to collect the 3rd point on Junkertown. Never an easy task. Then there's a shot. That's definitely not going to help things here for the South Americans. Dudu relegated back to spawn. That's not where he wants to be. And that is going to be it. Norway will deny Brazil the 3rd point in the end.
I believe the hip kids would call that a fatty shatty. That is 5 down right in the hallway. They had to go through that area just because it's a shortcut instead of going through the U-turn. It's a lot like fighting in a basement. If you have another option, you really don't want to do it.
That's where you hope they wore the brown pants. Otherwise, it's not going well.
They had to come through on that one, and Brazil showing some signs of life the last couple maps. The only thing that really slowed them down was like, I'm staying on Bastion because I've got tank mode.
Yeah, no, the number of times where you don't really see anything come from that tank mode. Yeah, there it is.
Look,
boom.
Tank mode has got an appeal where it one-shots people, and it looks really cool, and it's got really good sound design. So it's just thump, thump. Like, I get it. It's viscerally entertaining. It's strategically poor.
Sometimes, though, Hex, sometimes. That's what it's all about, but I just prefer the minigun, flat out, at all options. You melt everything. That's it. It may take me a second to kill you, but I'm going to kill you.
I mean, tank mode, you do have a little bit of mobility. You can do rocket jumping where you shoot the ground and you get into weird spots. I mean, there's a lot of really cool things you can do, but I think there's cool things you should do with that on ladder instead of in the Overwatch World Cup.
There it is. There it is. All right, we'll see. We got 30 seconds until we get into the fight here. Norway is switching to the offense.
To his credit, when Ole switched to Zenyatta, he crushed it. He was in on about 9 to 10 kills in a row, at the very least. At least getting assists, having discords, doing some damage. So when he switched to that hero, he had a great run on it.
Discord orb.
Yeah.
It's key.
It's very good.
But
But
not
again,
everybody has to be Jonak. Just put a Discord orb out there.
what Discord Orb does, too, is it just kind of already does your shot calling for you. Everyone just chases the Orb of Discord, chasing the purple balloon, kill the guy with the balloon on his head. It's really easy. That way your comms can be cleaner. And Brazil wants to hold right outside the door. They're looking for that early hook. They don't necessarily get it. But this is also to prevent them from running their own pirate ship. Because if you can't get to the cart with your Bastion, then your pirate ship never really sets sail.
Well, this is a fun way to deal with that, because then Track now gets to just run on the high ground and hit all of the rockets. There we go. Moira's out of the fight.
That was one of the only threats to him as well. And he knocked off Liko.
Get out.
Honorado wanted to go off the edge, and that's about as bad as that goes. Norway again with the very quick adjustment. I mean, the reason Brazil does that, again, is to prevent getting the Bastion of their own set up. But now they have to deal with Track, who already earned himself a barrage.
Yeah, that's a stupid fast barrage.
It really helps when you knock the Zarya off the edge. You get all that damage help there, but we'll see if Dudu can do anything to it. I mean, Track knows exactly where this is going to come from. Beautiful defense matrix.
Yeah, perfectly done there. That was perhaps just a little bit, you know, he had a dream, Hex. Unfortunately, it turned into a nightmare.
If he could stay afloat a little longer, he wanted the tanks out first, and then he was going to get the Widow and the Hanzo, who would inevitably be lurking in that window.
It was a nice attempt. It was a nice attempt.
Yes. The greatest plans of mice and men.
Oh.
All right, so Onigod and Track going to switch off of the Far as well. It's the right choice. There's really no reason to run a Far against a Widow. Not on this map in particular. There's nothing to hide behind, really. The architecture doesn't support a Pharah in this situation.
In the same way as a King's Row.
Yeah, King's Row or Rialto. And Junkerdown is just so wide open. Just, you know, they don't got a lot of materials to work with. Look at this poor craftsmanship.
I mean, we're already just, you know, they've got wheels, heck. Yeah, they got tires. But there we go. Trade back and forth. Tricky and Track working together right now to really just have a field day here. Norway continuing to make progress with this payload. Not as fast as Brazil, fair enough, you know. Brazil also had, oh, wow, okay. Not sure if that, well, Alamo's probably just going for the reset.
Yeah, I mean, you're going for the reset. Maybe you get I mean, you also don't really want the res off there. So you res someone up, you're just giving them more HP that goes into their ultimates. All right, we'll see how Brazil wants to re-engage this one, because right now Norway's trying to take the high ground away from them. Climbing is difficult.
No one can hide from my sight.
Go. And now he's going to try to hide. Norway has pulled out some big brain tactics already, so maybe they've got a strange flank they want to go for. Maybe you just shoot people in the head. Maybe there's that.
Yeah, you just remove their brain. Works too, Hex. Works too. The Demon putting on a bit of a display right now.
Well, they are running their own mercy, so that kill will be brought back to life.
Dragging right through, doesn't quite catch the angle. Looks like Tricky was able to survive as well, so no kills. A little bit of space brought. And well, we do have the self-destruct getting thrown in. Honorado not able to find any kills with it. Onigod, however, drops Lico. Dudu's out of the fight as well, so the DPS dead here for Brazil. Now we're going to get an Angry Hog who's just been boosted as well.
Force out that Transcend. Now, boosting Hog is not usually the prime target, but it helps him one-shot like the days of old. A boosted whole Hog is usually really good, but it doesn't matter. Norway's rolling through, and they're rolling through this off the back of a single support Ana, of all things. That's the faith they have in IPN. Now, Tricky's not necessarily going to need a ton of healing. He can self-heal, but everyone else is. He's responsible for D.Va and Orisa, and if your DPS ever need help as well. IPN's been up to the task.
Nicely done there by Dudu, just getting in there to touch the point in the last possible second. IKO, Eco with the self-destruct kill. Neil is out of the fight. Will get rezzed up, though. Alamau coming up with the big plays, but that's going to cost him his life. And now, well, it is a trade back and forth. Still a man advantage here for Norway. Although, as I say that, somehow Tricky dies to that self-destruct.
Well, Tricky was just vaping right in its face. He had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. He was not in his own protective bubble. He was in the enemy's bubble. A nice pack control from Onigod. He's going to send that Tracer pack, and they're still contesting this, though.
They are, and they're actually coming out ahead as well. IPN getting caught now. This is going to get nasty for him. There's no possible support. Decod is still so... What is this supercharger?
It's a sign that Decod is going to switch off Orisa.
Yeah. He's going to change off the Orisa.
Or maybe not. Track comes through with a giant blade at the end. He's already got himself 3. Everyone else comes in and mops it up. You know, supercharger's really good. I think that was a perfect usage of it.
I agree.
I didn't see the reinforcements coming around the corner. That was really well played. I thought Norway had made a mistake before that because they were kind of trickling in, and when I said they're still contesting it, I was actually referring to Norway. Like, they're still hanging around.
Exactly.
They've lost people, but they get the spawns, they get back in there, and Decod knows much more about Orisa ult usage than I do, because I thought it was a throwaway. It may have initially started as throwaway, and then Track comes in with an enormous blade.
It was Track, what a beast. Lico, though, oh, wow, right now, Brazil striking back, not going to allow for Norway to catch a breath here. Kill after kill coming through. Track going to get overwhelmed eventually. He's going to go down, as well as Onigod. So that will be Norway getting a reset. But that being said, they've got some ults to play around with here in this next push. So we could get that nanoed hold hog, like you mentioned. We do have the self-destruct as well here.
I mean, the nano hog is okay because it does a lot of initial damage, and what you want is your flankers to go in the back line to chase it, because it's also going to push them away.
Oh, there it is. You pin him in the corner, and that can work too. Neil getting overwhelmed with nowhere to go. Dudu with the pulse bomb, not going to find anything. Good recall there to dodge it, but then the sleep again. IPN with the sleep. Means a dead Tracer. Lico trying to go power. He knows that there's no sleep to stop him from running amok, but Onigod is going to shut him down just the same.
It's just been crazy how good IPN has been on this. A solo support Ana doesn't happen very often, and yes, you're not dealing with 3 tanks you have to heal, but the amount of just pure skill he's shown on this Ana has been impressive.
I love it. More Ana play, please. IPN, that was beautiful. Just all of the sleeps.
Yeah, IPN, intravenous pillow to the neck. Just puts him to sleep time and time again. Track has Blade ready to go again.
Now let's go. Onigod just farming up that next pulse. Poking at the edges, gonna get that payload, yep. Looking for it. Right now, he's gonna get clipped. A headshot coming in from Ole, and Brazil striking right back. Not messing around on their side either.
Below 90 seconds as well. Norway's down to their last push or second to last push. Really depends on how long they want to take to set up. We've seen them be very patient. Meanwhile, Aiko is out of mech, has to go all the way back to spawn. That's going to slow them down. He's going to lose any sort of ult charge he had as well. And they're just going to make some switches. They're going to add in a second healer finally to help out IPN. IPN almost has a boost. Brazil's playing this very close.
I don't dislike
You wait for the nano blade.
Exactly. There's a lot of pressure on Track right now. There's the sound barrier and the instant boop as well to knock him out of position. Excellent job there from Brazil. It's a bit too straightforward on the nose there from Norway.
They've done a much better job of tracking ultimates to know what to expect, to know what they need to use. And yeah, when you see a Genji just dash straight up in the air over your team, you can pretty much bank that he's going to get nano boosted and blade coming out. So they retreat with it. They only use one support ultimate. So now they have Transcendence and a blade of their own going forth. Brazil is in a great position to hold this map.
Yes, they are. It's shaping up nicely. Cue the dramatic music. Sub 20 seconds left here on the clock for Norway. Still haven't found an option. Still haven't found an answer. We will get the nade on Deliko, but he's getting armor instead. That's going to help. And that's setting it up beautifully here. 3, 4 kills coming in for Brazil, just wiping Norway out. And Hex, we're gonna go the distance. Brazil tie it up 2-2.
You've seen improvement amongst these teams all throughout, and I think Brazil's growth on the last two maps just based on what Dudu said at halftime. It's just been about ultimate usage and knowing what the situation is. And you have to be of calm mind and body to really have the mental bandwidth to be able to, like, okay, I know that it's really hectic, but they're going to have this. And what do we need to do when you use that? So if you don't previously set up of like, they're going to nano blade, are we transcending it or are we soundbearing it? If you don't set that up in advance, you end up using both. And then you're up creek without a paddle, and you're just in a tough spot. So it seems like they formulated a plan. It seems like they worked out some of the kinks that they had.
I really like Alamao as well. Every single time a Genji's going for that blade, boop. And it may not seem like a big thing, but that really can screw up a blade because you're counting on getting that slash to reset your dash that you probably used to get into that fight. If you're dashing in, it's just like, hey, see you, sucker. Like, what are you gonna do? Every time.
The support play from both of these teams has been astounding. Maybe I'm just rose-colored or World Cup-colored glasses here because we didn't get to see a ton of great Lucio or a ton of great Ana towards the end of the Overwatch League. So it's been really nice to see these heroes used to their great potential. Because supports don't just heal. They heal while they're doing other stuff, right? So, I mean, the utility, the moving around, the sleep darts have been so sick. And I do believe we're going to close this one out. Let's go to Ilios.
Perfect.
Now, this one has a murder hole.
It does, indeed.
So I'd be very afraid of Alamao.
Yeah, of all of these boops that are possible, this is going to get nasty. But also, you can see a whole host of different heroes on all three of these points. So this is an excellent way to finish things up here. On Control, all out, no holds barred. Oasis, as you guys can see, the last Control map played, Norway won that one, but it wasn't close. It wasn't rather one-sided. It was definitely a very close battle.
Yeah, and now both of these teams kind of have a feel of how the other team is going to play. I mean, do you already try to blind pick into? Are they going to run a Pharah? I mean, Norway had run a Pharah before. Now you've got, see, Brazil's going to run a Pharah because Pharah is actually an okay counter to the other Pharah if you get close enough to her. So at least you're at equal playing fields. But I'm ready to see whatever these teams want to throw at us here. We're still 25 seconds away, so really can't lock down anything. I really doubt that Aiko is going to play Symmetra. I wouldn't mind seeing it. I'm a little bummed that IPN's not on Ana, but I get it, you know. The only thing is I need to see Alamao on Lucio here, right? It's the murder hole of all things.
It's looking like he'll be on it. I like the Zen because if there is a Pharah in play, then you'll have the Discord, and that makes Onigod's job on the McCree that much easier to kill him.
Well, it's just about Liko right now. Okay, so yeah. Alamao's gonna switch to the Mercy. You can run a Pharah without a Mercy. It was a very popular European style for a while where you just throw a Zenyatta orb on them and let them get that healing. They have to play a little more passively, but it's definitely possible. But still, Concussion Blast could knock some people into the pit. All we want to see is people die in the pit.
There you are, or in the air. Oh, he got it again with the headshot. And there you go. That's the start. The res has been used, but that's, of course, going to draw the healing away from Neil. And so Neil will get overwhelmed in the meantime. And Norway will get first control on this point. Brazil, that's a bit frustrating if they're Brazil because they're not quite getting that ult charge either going into this following fight. They are pulling ahead Norway in that respect.
I mean, here's the problem is Far Mercy really depends on having another person on the ground to finish all the damage that you're doing. And for a while, it was going to be Tracer.
Yeah.
But Tracer can't walk in and finish that damage because Track is on the Brigida. So you walk in and finish that damage, and you're getting stunned and killed. So it's all these different moving pieces and compositions and what's going to work against the other team. Barrage works against a lot of teams. Very good target priority, taking down the McCree first. He's the only threat, then take down the healers, and Brazil is just taking this point right back.
That was sick play from Michael. Got to give it to him. Ole right now going around doing a made impression cleaning house.
Okay. This is very good Zenyatta.
You got to give it to him. Brazil right now keeping their cool. Leiko just comes right over the side. They're completely unaware of it too. That was beautiful. Yes. That's as good as it gets.
You've got his Diva right there too, so no one's going to be able to shoot him. He's in the Matrix. No need to dodge bullets when your Diva's doing it for you. Now Brazil has taken some percentage. A sound barrier does come out for the side of Norway, but it's not going to save Onigod from gravity.
Still, that's a pretty high-value target taken out of the fight. Mercy gone. It does look like Brazil are able to fight back. However, the damage just making the difference. They're melting Norway. Norway down to 2, soon to be 1, as they are just having to get chased out.
Tricky just got very over-eager. He was the only one left to be able to try to pressure down that far. He went way too deep and got punished for it and didn't even get the Pharah, and then the Pharah is able to get all sorts of cleanup. And it's so hard to push into a far-established team because he's just raining rockets down the hallway. Everyone's gonna eat chip damage on the way in. So Norway's gonna switch. Track is gonna go to a Pharah of his own. We're gonna have a dogfight in the sky.
Let's go. Yeah, that is exactly the game plan here as far as Track is concerned. He's getting boosted by Eco, a bit of the pocket. Big shot! What a shot from Lico! Back-to-back big rockets! Self-destruct thrown into the sky. We'll find Alamao, but Lico is still in the fight. That was so sick.
The second rocket will give him all the credit in the world on. The first rocket, you cannot be close to buildings against Bar. You didn't even have to hit that one. You could have hit the lighthouse behind it and it would have been already damaged. Doesn't matter though, as Norway has had the horses, had the throughput, and Lico takes a glorious death into the murder hole.
Still, man.
Dude, I like it. I like it. I'm just saying
that's. Oh, I agree with you.
Mercy can't be there. It's a mistake.
I agree.
But he almost got out alive and just hitting the direct away. Big old mid-airs. Doesn't have the same ring to it.
Not quite. We'll allow it. Oni on the hunt, yep, going straight in. Both tanks getting chunked by that pulse as well. That was a lot of damage dealt.
And there's the cleanup from his tanks who come in. Usually it's the other way around. The tanks will initiate big damage and the Tracer's there to clean it up, but it works either way. You want to slice it. And Norway, one fight away. How they lose Decod late? He should be able to get back. That's one of the benefit of highly mobile tanks on control points. If you lose one, it's not the end of the world. He'll be back on time using his abilities.
Exactly right. He's already on his way. So he will be here to open his arms and welcome Brazil. Brazil right now holding on to that barrage. Last time around, Lico, he was able to come up with the magic right now. Just distracting, making life difficult for Track. These mid-air rockets are sick.
Got a hit too. The anti-air self-destruct is so effective. It does get half of the combination. Lico is unable to save his Mercy, so he's going to actually just give up the Ghost, try to get what he can from that barrage, because he knows his life's not long without his Mercy with him.
But I like that. Gets both of them. Gets the Tracer and the Winston out of the fight. Now Track is trying to make the magic happen, and it just doesn't at all. They found the cards hidden up his sleeves and ripped his arms off in the process. It's done. Brazil will be able to flip it.
Brazil had switched Lico onto the Soldier 76 to get back to this fight. He might just stay on it, thinking there might be a Pharah in the mix, but Norway, unbeknownst, has switched over to a Genji. We will have one more fight. The winner of this fight will take the opening stage of our tiebreaker, Ilios.
That would be quite the advantage going into it. All about keeping your cool now, gents. Let's see who's going to manage. 99 to 99. Brazil in control. There's the dive coming in from Decod. He's got the primal as well. Getting melted. Has to be careful with that Discord. Gonna get chunked. 1-for-1 trade, though. Another stick from Oni. No, Decod is the one to find the kill, but Onigod right now still doing work.
He's got their primal going. It's very nice so far, but Alamao is going to come take down IPN. It's a very nice kill for him. It's a nice little blaster play from Maiko here. gets himself a couple, then brings up his support partners, keeping the dream alive for Norway.
And what happens? But Norway leaves the point.
Gotta stay on the point to keep it alive. It does burn down. Track's probably yelling, I swear I was there, but sometimes a detection of where you are on the ground as opposed to it. What I recommend for people trying to contest the point, show up early, you know, plan ahead. You don't want to miss your flight. You don't know what's going to happen. Show up a little bit early. Show up a couple seconds before you think you actually have to be there. Bring a book. It's all right.
And it's a tough one. Oni was alive as well next to it, but it looked like he just dashed off. So tough break there for Norway. Not able to make it happen. Now we're going to go ahead to Moira's home base, the Lighthouse.
To the Lighthouse, Virginia Wolf would be proud of us here, and this is also a very good map for environmental kills.
Exactly. Let's go. All right, so far in play here from Liko. We'll see if he can keep up the level.
Yeah, Aiko on the other side of things is the only Lucio on the field. Olay is going to be playing the Zenyatta. It's been very good since he switched onto it onto Junkertown, and Alamo tethered to Liko in the sky.
Again, just kind of floating along. There it is. Nicely done with the concuss. Knocks him out of position. Ola is able to capitalize on that. And Liko now playing along the edges. Eats the fire strike. That's not the best, but hey, his team are there to capitalize on the damage he's doing. And so far, so good here for Team Brazil, winning this fight handily.
I mean, Norway is trying to run tank heavy and support heavy going in, but they realize immediately it's not going to work. They're going to make full-on trades. It's just not the best of the stages to do it. You're just going to eat rockets from all sorts of angles. Yes, it's enclosed-ish, you know, but it's kind of an open floor plan, if you will, and there's going to be rockets raining in from every single side, so just too much damage for them to deal with, and we will resume our dogfight and a Tracer on the ground for Onigod.
There it is. Once again.
It's a solo kill, too. That you have to be able to do that as a Zenyatta if you want to be able to play in games against Tracer. You have to be able to defend yourself against Tracers at least half of the time and make them think, put the fear of God in them.
I can question whether it's worth it to go for that dive or not. So, Brazil again holding 33% and counting right now, looking good. Bringing the ults online. You can see there's now a huge advantage for Brazil as far as the support ults are concerned for this next push.
Dudu gets back on IPN, able to take that very important Zenyatta out of the mix. Meanwhile, all this time, Brazil has been on the point. They're going to use Neil to bash people away. Over 50% now. Brazil is on series point. They win this stage. Get on the board here.
Wait, how many dead on rockets is this guy going to hit? Long range as well.
I mean, the thing is you got to hit 2 in a row because they're always going to get healed up. But it does help you build barrage. He's already got barrage, though. Alamao's gonna pop Valkyrie early on in this fight.
Nicely done there. The collapse on the decon, capitalizing on the damage dealt by Liko. Liko just making life so difficult. Oh, if he'd have even hit the Pharah there, it might have been the collateral, but instead it's going to be Brazil continuing to find the kills. Norway on the ropes now, Hex.
But he is pushing them away. I mean, your Mercy eats 2 rockets. You're going to have to go back to spawn and just kind of rethink your life a little bit here. You're not welcome in the skies when Liko's patrolling. It's going to be all about ultimate execution here. Everyone is nearing everything important.
You're going to be shell-shocked, Hex. That's going to be the thing. Wow. Let's see, Dudu. Pulse bomb, there's the stick. Not gonna find a target though, Dudu. However, is he gonna be able to find one of his own crouching in the corner? He wants to make sure that Mercy doesn't get too comfortable back here. Melting him as well. If he can keep hitting these shots, this would be big.
The Matrix came up and he was unable to finish that one off and unable to find Peter with that pulse bomb. Meanwhile, Track has taken on a couple. They're still back and forth. Norway must win this fight.
Yeah, and it's looking very good for him so far. Neil trying to knock him off the side. That's not gonna happen. They don't want to bat. And Norway right now, they will gain control of the point. Brazil now, got to take stock. What do you have to work with going into the following one?
It seemed like Brazil actually ended up using a little more ultimates that they had in that fight than did Norway. So the economy now shifts in favor. Track on his Pharah is going to have Barrage. Barrage is an interesting ult to try to use without crowd control, without something else. You essentially lock yourself down and no one else. So it'd be either really sneaky about it or just not use it. It can be an absolute suicide switch.
You get the high ground. Like the way that right now Track has got a bit of an advantage in that Barrage game. Self-destruct goes off, not going to find a target. They'd wisely backed off Brazil.
Brazil wants a perfect fight because they're 99%. They only need to win one fight, take the point back once, and they will win the map.
And the series, keep in mind.
Yes.
So, series win on the line. This is match point here for Brazil. Yeah, the barrage steadily charging up, 75% and counting here for the Mercy. Kind of keeping an eye on them out because the wings could make a difference here in the following fight as well. But again, Trek just continuing to hit these rockets, needs to confirm the kill though, and he's not quite managing it. We've lost Ole for Brazil as well. But Dudu and Honorado right now making the difference.
Trying to sneak cap this too. Is there anyone here to even contest? It's not going to be Baby Diva, even though as a tracer it could be a terrifying target. The barrage does find something. They will deny that resurrection as well. Brazil so close to taking this back.
They're right on the edge. Honorado. Oh, he even gets it done with the blaster. Okay then. And is anybody close enough? Yes.
Oni is.
Oni is, the demon. Going to be able to touch the point. Just trying to contest a little while longer.
IPN's going to zoom Yada himself in here. Now Oni can come back and start fighting in the loving light, but IPN is all alone there. The Matrix too late to save him.
Just can't quite make it up in time. And now it is going to be Nico who's getting back into this fight as the Primal Monkey, but Brazil are holding their own.
Track up both supports during this fight. Can they stay alive long enough to capitalize on the lack of throughput? They're going to bring IPN back to life as well. Norway is still holding on to dear life.
Oh, this is big. So long as Nico has the wings out right now, Chain Healing could do it. But Dudu right now has decided to put his foot down and end this business. If they can get the final kill here on Oni, who's still hanging out in the middle. Post bomb kill, but that's not going to be enough. And Brazil will win the series. The reverse sweep, Hex. The reverse sweep, 3-2.
Looks good. They wanted to beat Norway. They wanted to prove that they belong on the world stage. Last year, it was the pressure that did them in. This year, under all the pressure in the world, you start off down 0-2, you bring it back, you go to a decisive 5, clutching it out, and that should set the stage forward for Brazil. Norway, though, no slouches as well. Both of these teams, you can come into it and understand why people thought, like, which are the two teams that are going to have the best chance to upset either Canada or the USA? That's why we're talking about these two guys.
And when they face each other as well, looking at today, it's like this is also going to be the close match. We've had a lot of one-sided affairs so far, but between these two, very evenly matched. The score tells the tale. It was a battle tooth and nail here for Brazil, but they managed to pull it off. So congratulations to them, absolutely. Looking forward to seeing more. And what we are going to get to hear a little bit more from Brazil because we have Malik with Lico in the main stage.
Thank you very much, Similar. Here with Lico from Team Brazil. Everybody get over for Lico. He had an amazing performance. So let's take it back to Kings Row. You guys had one more push and the match would have been over. What is going on the comms during that push before you guys were able to make the comeback?
I think we were just trying to count our ults and maybe make sure that we know what they're going to use so we know that we were prepared. But I don't know, it's kind of chaotic when you're up there, so it gets a little lost sometimes.
Was there anybody who kind of had to, wrangle everybody back together and get everybody to just calm down?
Yeah, that's me, actually.
All right, straight up. All right, so, going into the second half, you guys were down 0-2. What type of adjustments did you guys make going into the second half so you can make this comeback?
I think we were trying to focus too much on GOATs because we were like, oh, this comp is OP, so everybody's using it, we should use it as well. But we know that our strengths are like somewhere else. So we were trying to, we just said like, all right, let's just play what we're good at. And I think that kind of works out for us.
Yeah, I noticed you guys were actually, switching things up, playing different heroes, and it worked out well for you. All right, so last question for you, man. With that victory, you guys put yourself in a really good position to potentially make it to BlizzCon, maybe still second place from USA or Team Canada. Are you feeling confident that you can do that?
I think that we need to improve really quick over the night, but yeah, I think that it's a possibility, you never know. I think we're gonna give it our best. We came here to show what we're capable of, and I think we're capable of doing it. We're gonna try it.
All right, man. One last thing from Lico. Go ahead, man.
Just a message for our fans in Brazil. Obrigado, galera. Vocês são foda pra caralho. Amo vocês. Muito obrigado aí pela emoção, pelo carinho que vocês mandam por nós. Obrigado. É nóis.
Yeah. What did you just say? I'm just curious. What did you say?
I was just thanking everybody for the warming messages that they sent us after we lost to Canada. And I think that it really helps us, It keeps our hopes up, and it's very important.
All right, man. The people of Brazil lifted you guys up. I love it. Awesome. Give it up one more time for Lico and Team Brazil pulling off the comeback victory. And we're going to go ahead and break down that match right now with the casters. Take it away, boys.
Thanks, Malik. And yeah, glad to hear that from Lico, and glad to have the shout out as well to the positive fans there in Brazil. That's sick to hear.
I mean, it seems the scene is already growing a little bit, because if you talk to these guys maybe a couple years ago, be like, well, what do your fans think? They'd be like, what fans? So like, at least now you got fans, they're giving you the support, and obviously because they're feeding off of it. And, he mentions we might have to improve a lot overnight. I don't know, he improved a lot over the course of this series, so.
Oh, he certainly did.
Lico played extremely well on a bevy of heroes. And it was when we get to the highlight package, I just want to say right off, it was one of the most entertaining bars I've seen in quite a while.
Yeah, they've done, that's always that mind game of battle. Who's going to have the high ground advantage when it comes to barrage usage or pulling the fast one like we saw him do on the Murder Hole. I mean, really, he was the one instrumental in shutting down and putting pressure on Onigod as well. Not letting Track and Onigod just run away with the game.
Yeah, it's so funny how the match evolved too, because early on, Eduardo Dudu had the carry really, really hard on the Tracer in some of these maps, and it just wasn't quite enough. And then it was when they got Lico online, and then Dudu was a little more comfortable. He was a contributing factor. The focus was on Lico. They were able to get a lot done. Similar to what we saw with Norway, whereas one of the other DPS has to step up. Norway, I think, just has so far the coolest strat of the entire tournament that we've had today. That Kings Row final overtime hold when they had the May wall behind the other team. Really, really cool stuff.
I know, I am excited to see a bit more Norway play. Not just because, I'm like an honorary Scandinavian now. I'm not going to get to cast any Sweden games, so
you're
going to go
honorary
for
everything,
best.
though. You're like, oh, I'm French, oh, I'm Swedish, oh, I'm Californian. Come on, pick a team.
I like how you specify that as well. I'm Californian, not American, Californian.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you do live in a bubble on the West Coast.
Lico just, again, you're seeing him on all sorts of heroes, played it all very, very well. And in the second half of this series, it seemed like they were executing really, really well. This, not their brightest moment, but hey, that actually helped Brazil because then Ole got off of the Bastion.
He did, and then he proceeded to wreck house as the Zen. Gotta give it to him. I mean, Dudu had big plays, Lico as well. Ole, towards the end, I think it was just, perhaps Brazil really just needed to like have that moment. Because sometimes it's so difficult when things are spinning out of control to kind of get a grip on things and try and slow it down and be like, right, what do we need to change?
Yeah.
That break after the second map, it was a totally different Brazil that we saw come into it after that.
Oh, it absolutely was. I mean, I think Norway can also bounce back from this too. You've seen the talent on this team. In the earlier day, we talked so much about Onigod, and even in this day, we talked this match, we talked about Onigod and Track. But I think what we saw out of IPN and Ico could end up with the big carry for this team as well, because I thought the support line played very well, and just about putting the pieces all together. And I mean, the way Brazil was playing towards the end, this could have gone either way from the get-go. From map number one, fight number one, it could have gone any way, and fittingly enough, it comes down to overtime on a map 5 on Ilios.
Which is always a joy to cast and watch. As far as I'm concerned, Ilios is sick. We got to see the level, but let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule, guys, what you guys have to expect more from us this weekend. And, well, first, before we do that, we're going to get to today's results.